Hello, I'm Robert Costa in Washington. We want to take you now to the Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, Florida. This is where a SpaceX crew is about to take off on a mission to the International Space Station. Let's bring in CBS News space consultant Bill Harwood. Bill, thank you so much for being here. What is this mission all about?
Robert, this is the third commercial flight to the International Space Station. NASA is trying to encourage the private sector to take advantage of the station to gain experience in how to work and operate in space so that after the station is retired at the end of the decade, commercial space stations can step in and fill that void. So like I said, this is the third flight for Houston-based Axiom Space, and the first flight really with an all-international crew, 4 people going up to the International Station for a 2-week research mission.
What's going on inside the mission control area right now? Take us inside as an expert.
Well, you know, we're 1 minute from launch, and the thing about SpaceX countdowns, they're all pretty much automated. Their mission control center is at the SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California, just south of the Los Angeles International Airport. They have a glassed-in room with computer monitors and displays where they really are paying attention to every aspect of this rocket as it gets ready for flight. They're just now wrapping up propellant loading. They've loaded it with highly refined kerosene and liquid oxygen, and at about 40 seconds to launch, we're really in the final stages. If you see me glancing to my left, we can see the rocket out the window. It's quite a sight.
What else do you see? Anything quickly?
Well, they're go for launch. That's the main thing. We're 25 seconds from launch. This is all automated at this point and in the hands of the flight computers. The crew is just along for the ride.
Bill Harwood, thank you. It looks like they are about to lift off. Let's listen in and watch.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Engine full power. And liftoff. Go Axiom 3.
Further beyond, opening the door for more to follow. Godspeed AX3.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
Of course, if you are just joining us, this is the launch of the Axiom 3 launch to the International Space Station. Those incredible views on your screen, and there's our first shot of the AX3 crew inside Dragon on ascent. Now, in just a few seconds here, we should hear the call out that Falcon 9...
power and telemetry. Stage 1 throttle down.
There's that call out that Falcon 9's engines are throttling down to help us pass through the period of maximum dynamic pressure during ascent.
Max Q.
There's that call out for Max Q.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
And that Falcon 9 is going faster than the speed of sound. Now, at this point, we will begin to throttle Falcon 9's engines back up.
Stage 1 throttle up.
There's that call out for mission control as well, as our AX3 crew continues on their way to space.
We're now T plus 1 minute and 32 seconds into flight. The next event we have is MVAC chill, similar to what...
MVAC chill underway.
There's that call telling us that, again, we're flowing a little bit of that super chilled liquid oxygen.
Stage 1 Bravo. Copy 1 Bravo.
That call there was one of the abort mode callouts that the crew is calling out as they are making their ascent on Falcon 9. Now, we're less than 30 seconds or a few seconds away from 4 events that will happen in rapid succession. Main engine cutoff, or MECO, as it's there on the bottom of your screen, stage separation, ignition of the first stage engine, and the first stage's boost back burn.
Stage 1 throttle down.
That call telling us that the engines are beginning to throttle down.
MECO.
Stage separation confirmed.
SpaceX Dragon 2 Alpha.
Some loud cheers here as we can see that the
Stage 1 boost back startup.
first and second stages have separated. A beautiful view there. The brighter light is the second stage under power of the MVAC engine. That first stage booster is now heading back toward the Florida coast. One thing I love about daylight launches is we're going to get some amazing views. We should be able to see the Space Coast come back into view as the first stage gets closer and closer to landing zone 1. Note that that first stage is actually still coasting to its apogee. So it's about, as you can see there on your screen, 114, 115 kilometers above the Earth's surface. And it's going to keep coasting for a little bit. Beautiful view there on the right-hand side of your screen of that MVAC engine.
The SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket now on its way to the International Space Station. Bill Harwood is still with us. Let's also bring in CBS News correspondent Manuel Bojorquez. Pat Duggins. Pat is the news director for Alabama Public Radio. He's covered the U.S. space program for decades. Pat, let's begin with you. Manny, let's begin with you. Take us inside your perspective as a correspondent who's covered these about liftoff. What did you see? What did you make of it all?
It is always a sight to behold, but really it's one that can be felt. So the launch pad, the historic launch pad 39A, is in the background behind us here. We're, of course, at a rather safe distance from it. But even given that, you can still feel the force of that rocket and all the lights and all the equipment we have in the studio here at the CBS News building at Kennedy Space Center. Everything starts to rattle. That's the spectator side of me explaining just how giddy people can get watching these, right? People want to come out and see these and root them on. Everything seems to be so far so good on this launch. The journalist side of me, of course, should tell you, though, that this is significant. All these missions are significant because they're designed to gain a better foothold in space and further human exploration of space. In this case, the company Axiom, private company looking to build its own space station at some point.
Pat, let's go to you. Walk us through the crew, its research, its mission at the International Space Station.
Well, the commander, Bob, is Michael Lopez Alegria. And the fact that the mission lifted off after only one launch delay, I'm sure that he's really happy about this because Bill Harwood's going to remember this. Michael's very first launch on the space shuttle in 1995 was delayed 6 times because of the weather. So the fact that he's on his way to the space station, I'm sure he's a happy camper there. It's a private mission, including about 30 experiments, mostly from Italy, that are going to deal with medicines and how the human body reacts to space. And as you mentioned earlier, yes, it is part of a NASA effort to try to commercialize space. If you ever got dragged to 2001: A Space Odyssey, you might remember the space station was operated by Hilton and the space shuttle was operated by Pan Am. Even back in 1968, there were futurists who had an idea that this is probably the way we're going to go in the future of space.
Bill, what about your take on this, especially in terms of the technical aspect of how this rocket is operating?
Well, so far it's going by the book. They're coming up on the first stage reentry burn. You know, that stage is flying itself back to a landing at the nearby Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. SpaceX has gotten this perfected to a near art. They do it so often, but that greatly reduces the cost of these flights by being able to reuse these rocket stages. You know, Bob, the thing I think about every time I see one of these rockets take off, all of NASA's flights to the station with astronauts rely on the Falcon 9 rocket. You know, they have to have a good, solid performance of every one of their rockets, you know, no matter what the payload is, or the mission to the space station could be impacted. They're all tied together, and so you watch these with bated breath because they have to work.
Manny, back to you. Who exactly is on this mission? Who's in the crew?
Well, this is perhaps the most international crew that has launched on private missions so far. There's the commander, who's an American, but also has Spanish citizenship, Michael Lopez Alegria. There is also astronauts from Sweden, Italy, and Turkey on board. So representative of the global effort really here to further space exploration as we await the first stage of the Falcon 9 rocket to land upright. And I'm looking off screen to try to see it. It's quite a feat of engineering that they can land it upright and then be able to reuse it. And it's another moment that people will hear and feel on the ground here in Brevard County because there is a sonic boom that accompanies this. But it looks like so far, we're looking at it, a successful landing of and there's a sonic boom.
Yeah.
You may have not caught it, but we definitely heard it outside the building here.
And Pat, where does this all fit in terms of public operations when it comes to space and NASA and private operations? For an amateur like me who loves space but doesn't follow it closely, how should we understand this particular trip?
Well, getting back to the 2001 A Space Odyssey, that Stanley Kubrick movie analogy, you had private companies making money in low Earth orbit, and then the professional astronauts going off and doing things exciting, for space exploration. So ultimately, Axiom has made it very clear they want to build their own space station, and they'd like to have it up and operating by the end of the decade. And once they do that, they'll be able to do, frankly, what private companies do, and that is conduct research quietly. I mean, back when Bill and I were covering the space shuttle program, you asked an astronaut what was going on. Hey, they'd tell you everything because it was government and it was tax supported. But if you have private industry, if they come up with a discovery, they're going to want to keep it to themselves because there is a profit margin involved here.
Bill, are there challenges about the technical aspect of this trip and others if there's not a total share of information in terms of how these things are all running?
No, it's really a good question. NASA claims that their managers are closely involved with SpaceX in terms of analyzing data from all these flights, making sure that the flights that NASA astronauts participate in are safe to fly. But at the end of the day, it's really a case of NASA saying, trust us. The proprietary nature, as Pat was saying, of these companies, especially SpaceX, they share very little technical information with the public, and that forces reporters like all of us to look on the sidelines to try to tease out what details we can at news briefings and things like that. But it's a different way of doing business, no question about it, and I think we're all still getting used to that.
And Bill, stay with me for a moment and walk us through, for those that don't know, what exactly happens on the International Space Station.
It's interesting. This space station would tip the scales if you could weigh it at around 930,000 pounds. It is a huge spacecraft. If you put it in a football stadium, the solar arrays would extend out of each end zone. And of course, all of this is moving at nearly 5 miles per second. And to put that in perspective, that's something like 85 football fields end to end per second is how fast the space station and everything else in low Earth orbit is moving. What they're using it for is a microgravity research laboratory. There's lots of research and science that can be gained by carrying experiments out in the absence of gravity. NASA certainly needs to know how to keep astronauts healthy for long periods of time for eventual flights back to the moon and on to Mars, presumably. And so the station is an excellent test bed for that sort of thing. But, Bobby, as you know, it's also incredibly expensive. So it comes down to the nation's priorities and what they want to spend their money on.
Pat, it seems as though everything, thankfully, went as planned for today's launch in terms of safety. Tell us exactly how the crew prepares for an event like this.
Well, for the experienced astronauts like Michael Lopez Alegria, it is a bit of a change of pace because inside the SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule, there's no control stick. I mean, a lot of these astronauts are test pilots who are used to flying high performance aircraft, and there's no stick, which for some of them that I've spoken to say that takes a little bit of getting used to. So as you said earlier, the vehicle does fly on its own. Not a great view, unfortunately, back again when Bill and I were covering the space shuttle program. You had big windshields on the top of the flight deck. On the SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule, you have a little porthole on either side, so you can sort of see what's going on, but it wasn't as picturesque as the shuttle. And so they'll fly on autopilot and then dock at the space station and then get to work about, I believe, 14 days.
Manny, any further thoughts on all of that?
Well, just some numbers here. For Axiom, this is the third fully commercial flight to the International Space Station. But the bigger picture here for SpaceX, and correct me if I'm wrong, Bill, it's the 12th flight with humans that it's going into space.
That's right.
And the goal there, of course, we can't use the word affordable because it's all still pretty pricey, but is to make it more cost efficient and more efficient to be able to send people to space, to new space stations, and even this whole notion of space tourism. As we continue to look off screen here just to see what's happening as it continues to head closer to the International Space Station.
And Manny, what we're looking at is the Crew Dragon capsule with the crew is separating from the rocket. You're seeing video from a camera on the second stage of the Falcon 9. That is the crew capsule floating away.
That's so true. We are going to continue to listen now to Mission Control talking to the commander of the spacecraft.
Of the nose cone. That will take.
Dragon, this is the SpaceX Falcon team. We want to congratulate you on a great ride to orbit. I think you're demonstrating the ultimate in reuse, a reused Commander, a reused Dragon, and a reused Falcon. Or maybe flight experience is a better word. Enjoy space.
And Axiom 3.
Y'all, Durst, and as I was saying, it's a team sport. Thank you, guys.
And Axiom 3, this is your launch director here. Walter, Alper, and Marcus. Congrats, welcome to your first flight on Dragon. Mike, on the other hand, welcome to the Dragon Frequent Flyer Club. I imagine you'll have enough miles to qualify for platinum status after this flight. Godspeed, Axiom 3, cheers.
Mark, thanks to you and your team. We're very grateful up here.
So some back and forth between the AX3 crew as well as AX3 Chief Engineer Bill Gerstenmayer, who.
Bill Harwood, Manny Bojorquez, and Pat Duggins. Thank you. We appreciate it.